Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Superficial Sports. I've got the whole gang with me, Sabrina Boyd, Kelly Bright. I'm Jimmy Sullivan. Happy you could be along with us on this week's episode. Last week we talked about NBA logos. This week we're going to be delving into some NFL logos. We're going to give our top three, and we're also going to give our worst logo, too. Guys, thanks for being here. Let's get right into it. Kelly, we'll start with you. Your three best logos out of all 32 teams in the NFL.
All right, Jimmy, so this shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but I'm going to start with number 3. I'm going to go with the Patriots.
No.
Oh, shocking.
Hey, I didn't make them number 1, okay? I was fair. So, obviously for the Patriots, it looks like a flying Elvis. You can't ask for much more than that. And I think it's made a huge improvement from their last logo, which was the Minutemen spiking the ball, so I got to give them credit for that. And I just like the contemporary feel with the tricone hat bleeding into the 3 stripes. I think it's a nice aesthetic.
You would think Flying Elvis would be like Tennessee, the Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, change the Titans to the Flying Elvises.
I actually used to like the spiking Patriot
Really?
with the football. I was a big fan of that. Yeah, the old Steve Grogan days in the 80s.
There was too much going on. But moving on to a more simple logo, number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys with the single star representing the Lone Star State. Now, it's one of the most recognizable logos in all of professional sports, not just the NFL. And I mean, it's America's team, American logo. There's not much more you can ask for. Simple, sweet, love it. And for number 1, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Now, I don't know about you guys, but did you know what a Seahawk looked like before seeing the logo?
I mean, I assumed it was a bird. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a Seahawk.
I thought of the character from Finding Nemo who would always be like, mine.
You're thinking seagull.
That's close enough.
Well, in 1975, John Thompson, he was the GM at the time, he was the one who kind of approved this logo, and he said, what's a Seahawk? Well, it's a tough fish-eating bird. Now, there's no fish in the NFC, but that doesn't matter. This logo is fierce. The navy blue with the neon green, that's a great combination, never been done before. And really, I mean, he just decided that Seahawk was a badass bird, and I think that's really cool.
It is a badass bird. I
think
kind of
it's a
like the
badass
logo.
bird.
I also like the color scheme, too, now with the lime green and the blue. I think it's nice. That's a more recent development. But that's your top 3. Sabrina, over to you now. I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this top 3, knowing you and where you're from, but let's hear it anyway.
Oh, absolutely, Jimmy. I'm an open book. But we're going to start off with something a little bit out of left field here. We're going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, doesn't seem like the first logo you'd think I'd think of, but it's the skull and crossbones. That's about as classic as it gets. I mean, you got the red, bright red, which is a nice color. You got the skull and crossbones with the kind of tattered old flag. It's just a pretty badass logo in general. It's intimidating, it's tough, it's mean, it means business. And it's down south. You know, I've always really just had a soft spot for it. And then coming in at number 2, it is the New Orleans Saints. Now, the fleur-de-lis seems like kind of a weird pick because it just looks like a little, like, spiky thing. You don't really quite know what it is unless you look at its history, but when you're looking at what it means to New Orleans and what it means to the history of the city and what it means to the history of the team, it's really very symbolic, and you get the French Quarter ties in there, and Cajun food rules, so you always got to rep the Saints somehow. The fleur-de-lis, I think, was a pretty classic touch, and it looks good with the gold and black. Gold and black is just an excellent color scheme. You know, they tend to rock it.
Louisiana food in general, by the way, just kicks
fire.
ass.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
amazing.
100%. I mean, I know our podcast isn't on food. We could talk about that all day. But
On a very basic level, too, it's just nice to look at.
Oh, it's great.
Very pretty, very nice aesthetic.
yeah, it's
great.
an intricate pattern.
And your number 1.
I wonder what my number 1 might be. Coming at no surprise, it's the Minnesota Vikings. Now,
What?
before you get on me about picking my favorite team, the logo itself is just pretty cool. It's a Viking. One, I don't know any other thing on earth that can pull off braids as well as a Viking can.
Fair.
Look at those braids. I mean, those braids are epic. 2, gold, purple, excellent colors together. 3, the Vikings are badass. They come from, like, the ice regions of Norway and Finland and Sweden. They're like, we're going to just settle in the most inhospitable state that we can inhospitable territory in this new place that we can possibly find, where it's like negative 60 all the time and snowing 9 months out of the year. Let's live here and make a football team here. Vikings deserve the top spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the backstory and I'll give you the colors. I do wish there was a little more creativity since it's literally just a picture of a Viking, but I mean, I got to agree with you on everything else.
So I went a little bit simpler with my logos. So I'm going to go 3. And the common theme in all these logos is 1, it ties into the city, and 2, great tradition. So number 3, I've got the Steelers. Been their logo forever. Very simple, very nice. They've got the 3 stars, the blue, I think it's yellow and red. just a really nice logo. It's been there since the beginning of time. It ties in with the city of Pittsburgh. Very simple, hard-nosed, very much ties in with their identity. Number 2, one that I really like, and again, it's very simple. San Francisco 49ers. They've got that beautiful interlocking SF. They've got that red fill background, but then they've also got the gold border, obviously to symbolize the gold rush of 1849. So I kind of have a soft spot for that logo. I think it's really cool.
And on that, I normally don't like the logos that are just the letters because I think it's not creative, but I will say that San Francisco's layout of their logo
Yeah, amazing.
is actually pretty cool. Like, I will give them that one.
I mean, a team like the 49ers, if you're going to have a QB who's that attractive, you might as well have a logo that backs it
You
up.
are right.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at 1 loss by the end of the night, but that's my prediction. And anyway, my number 1, the Oakland Raiders. They've got the silver and black. In general, I'm just a big fan of black, whether it's logos, uniforms. You tie it in with the silver. Nobody had ever really done that before. And what better way to tie that in with the city of Oakland and the city of LA to have that swag that nobody had ever really had before? So I've got to go with the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Do you think that logo's going to change?
I hope not.
I hope not,
I
too.
hope not too. But I've been an advocate of teams going to Las Vegas for a while, so I'm actually not totally opposed to that. But I hope the logo is able to stay the same. So now the obligatory part where we go from good to bad, and we go from our best to our worst. So I'll start on worst logos. The Miami Dolphins. The dolphin looks like it's going to eject from the sea or whatever the hell that is in the middle of that logo. It looks like the SpongeBob meme.
Oh, my God.
It's awful. Like, it's terrible. They had a great logo with the dolphin on the helmet. It was wonderful in the days of Dan Marino, and they changed it. They had a great thing, and they screwed it up.
I mean, it's almost depressing, just like their play.
Yeah,
so.
well, kind of like their play, and they're
It's
not
like
going to get the number
record,
1
too.
pick now, so.
And
But
not
yeah,
only that, the dolphin is the least intimidating creature I think I've ever seen. He's got this big old smile. It looks like it's
cute.
just like...
it's creepy. It's creepy.
It is. It's just like staring into my soul.
Anyway, so I've got the Miami Dolphins because it's one, it's stupid, and 2, they took a good thing, and they completely messed it up.
Fair enough. Tell us how you really feel, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's how I really feel.
For me, I'm going to go with the Browns. Now, when you think the Browns, it's a stock photo image of an orange helmet. It doesn't get much more boring than that. I mean, for those of you wondering what the hell a Brown is, by the way, because what kind of a nickname is that? It's actually an homage to the original founder, Paul Brown. And from that, they were like, all right, how uncreative can we get? And they went with his last name, and then they was like, all right, how do we make it worse? Let's pick the worst 2 colors possible and put them together, orange and brown. So that's my worst logo.
It's nothing, kind of like their franchise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it
Sums it
better
all up.
myself. And for mine, again, you guys are going to be shocked, but the Green Bay Packers. Now, my personal hatred for this team aside, it's just a G with green and yellow border. 1, those 2 colors are not appealing together. 2, they're the cheeseheads, right? Everybody knows them as the cheeseheads. That's the color of moldy cheese. It's green and yellow. It's moldy cheese. I don't understand. It's like, why would you want your logo to be the color of moldy cheese? I never got it. So, all those logos are pretty bad. I definitely
have to
vote that
agree.
those are all pretty horrible. And I think that's about all the time we've got tonight. I want to thank Jimmy and Kelly for being with us again tonight with our great shows, Superficial Sports. We're going to get a rundown on all the uniforms, logos, all coming up. Next episode, we're going to go into the MLB, talking about some MLB logos, and next month is going to be Uniforms Month, so get ready for that. This has been Superficial Sports. I'm Sabrina Boyd, signing off. See you guys next time.